First contact failure. The vast darkness of space was pierced by the sleek silhouettes of three Correction warships, their crystalline hulls reflecting the light of distant stars. Aboard the command vessel, High Commander Velix stood with hands clasped behind his back, mandibles clicking softly as he studied the holographic display of an unknown vessel drifting at the edge of Imperial territory. "Report," Velix ordered, his multifaceted eyes never leaving the rotating image. Officer Traz approached with practiced precision. "Unknown vessel, sir, not matching any Imperial registry. Primitive design, likely a scouting craft from an unaligned world." Velix tilted his head, carapace gleaming under the bridge lights. "Biosigns. 22 life forms. Carbon-based. Scanning indicates." Traz paused, antenna twitching in surprise. "Humans, sir." A ripple of chittering laughter spread through the bridge crew. Humans were known to the Correxian Empire, a species from a small blue world in a backwater system. The Empire had surveyed Earth decades ago, classifying them as barely space-capable primitives, still burning chemical fuels to achieve orbit. They weren't considered worthy of formal contact or concern. Humans, this far from their homeworld. Velix's mandibles clicked with amusement. Impossible. They lack the technology. "The evidence suggests otherwise, High Commander," Traz replied, displaying sensor readings. "Their propulsion system appears to be using a crude form of gravitational manipulation. Inefficient, but functional." Velix studied the readings, his amusement fading. This shouldn't be possible. Humans were classified as a Level 2 civilization, restricted to their own solar system. Yet here they were, hundreds of light years from Earth, in a vessel that shouldn't exist according to Imperial intelligence. "High Commander, they're hailing us," the communications officer announced. "Ignore it," Velix said after a moment's consideration. "This incursion cannot be tolerated. The Emperor's directive is clear. No unaligned species allowed in Imperial space without authorization." "But sir, first contact protocols do not apply to species already classified," Velix interrupted. "Humans are documented primitives who have violated restricted space. The protocols are clear." Velix turned to his weapons officer. "Target their propulsion and communication systems. Disable the vessel." "Yes, High Commander." The Correction warship's crystalline arrays hummed with energy, focusing into brilliant beams that lanced toward the human vessel. The first struck its engines, the second its communication array. But instead of the expected controlled disablement, the human ship erupted in a catastrophic explosion, fragments spinning into the void. Silence fell over the Correction bridge. "Report," Velix said quietly. "Target destroyed, sir," the weapons officer responded, his voice uncertain. "Their power core was unstable. Our targeted strike caused a chain reaction." Velix's mandibles tightened. This was unfortunate. A disabled vessel could be boarded, its crew interrogated to discover how they'd achieved unexpected technological progress. Now that opportunity was lost. "Log it as an attempted unauthorized entry that resulted in self-destruction due to inferior technology," Velix ordered. "Standard patrol pattern. Continue." The Correction warships slipped back into formation, continuing their patrol route as if nothing significant had occurred. Behind them, the debris of the human vessel slowly dispersed into the endless void. 3 weeks later, in the same sector, alert signals blared across the Correction patrol fleet. Officer Traz now served on a different vessel, the incident with the human ship all but forgotten in the routine of Imperial service. "Unidentified vessel at Vector 7-3, announced the sensor officer. "No Imperial registry." Captain Rel, a veteran officer with a cracked carapace from old battles, leaned forward. "Visual." The main screen activated, showing a vessel unlike any in the Imperial database. It was angular and dark, with visible weapon ports along its hull. Most significantly, it was large, nearly the size of a Correction cruiser. "Origin," Rel demanded. The sensor officer worked frantically. "Sir, Biosigns indicate human occupants. A heavy silence fell over the bridge. Another human vessel, far larger and more advanced than the previous one. Impossible, Mrel whispered. Humans don't have this technology. Sir, they're hailing us, the communications officer reported. Captain Mrel hesitated, then nodded. Open channel. The screen shifted to show a human female with dark skin and close-cropped hair. She wore a uniform of deep blue with silver insignia at the collar. Her expression was calm but unmistakably stern. This is Captain Amara Chen of the Earth Defense Force vessel Retribution, she stated, her voice clear and unwavering. We are investigating the disappearance of the research vessel Horizon in this sector. Our telemetry places its last known position within 5,000 kilometers of your current location. Mrel's antenna twitched nervously. Earth Defense Force. No such organization existed in Imperial records. This is Captain Mrel of the Coraxian Empire 3rd Patrol Fleet, he responded carefully. We have no knowledge of your missing vessel. This is restricted Imperial space. You must withdraw immediately. Captain Chen's expression didn't change, but her eyes hardened. That's interesting, Captain Mrel, because we have sensor logs showing 3 vessels matching your exact configuration approaching the horizon before all communication ceased. She tapped something off screen, and the communication split to show sensor recordings. Clear, unmistakable images of Coraxian warships approaching a smaller human vessel. These readings were automatically transmitted back to Earth before contact was lost. Chen continued. We have a right to investigate what happened to our people. Mrel's mind raced. How had the humans recorded this? More importantly, how had they transmitted data across such vast distances instantaneously? Even Imperial technology required relay stations for communication across sectors. I must consult with Imperial Command, Mrel replied, signaling his communications officer to cut the transmission. Sir, their weapon systems are active but not targeting us, reported the tactical officer nervously. Their shield technology, it's unlike anything in our database. Mrel immediately opened a secure channel to High Command. Within minutes, the imposing figure of Grand Admiral Zex appeared on screen, his black carapace marking him as one of the Empire's elite warrior caste. Report, Zex demanded without preamble. Admiral, we've encountered a human warship in Sector 4A. They claim to be searching for a missing research vessel. Mrel swallowed hard. They have evidence suggesting Imperial involvement in the vessel's destruction. Zex's compound eyes seemed to darken. What kind of evidence? Visual recordings of our patrol ships approaching their vessel before it was destroyed. The recordings were somehow transmitted back to their homeworld instantly. A long silence followed. I'm dispatching 3 battle cruisers to your position, Zex finally said. Engage in no further communication. Hold position and await reinforcement. The transmission ended, leaving Mrel staring at the view screen where the human vessel hung against the starfield like a dark promise. Hours passed in tense silence. The human ship made no aggressive moves, simply maintaining position as 3 massive Imperial battle cruisers arrived, their massive crystalline hulls dwarfing both the patrol ships and the Retribution. Admiral Zex's personal shuttle docked with Mrel's vessel, and soon the Admiral strode onto the bridge, his black carapace gleaming under the lights. Without preamble, he ordered communications opened to the human vessel. Captain Chen appeared once more, her expression unchanged despite now facing overwhelming firepower. I am Grand Admiral Zex of the Coraxian Empire, he stated, his translator converting his clicks and chirps into standardized galactic common. Your presence here violates multiple Imperial edicts. Earth has no standing in this sector. Admiral, Chen replied evenly. 3 weeks ago, your ships destroyed an unarmed research vessel with 22 civilians aboard. We have the evidence. We require an explanation and reparations for this unprovoked attack. Any vessels destroyed in Imperial space were engaged in illegal activities, Zex replied dismissively. If your species wishes to establish diplomatic relations, there are proper channels. Armed incursion is not one of them. Chen's eyes narrowed slightly. We attempted communication before your ships opened fire. And this armed incursion, as you call it, is a standard response when our people are killed without provocation. For the first time, uncertainty flickered in Zex's posture. The human's confidence in the face of overwhelming odds was concerning. This discussion is over, Zex declared. Withdraw your vessel immediately or face destruction. Chen's expression hardened. Admiral Zex, I urge you to reconsider. We came seeking answers, not conflict. Zex turned to his weapons officer. Target their propulsion systems. Fire. 3 brilliant beams of energy lanced out from the Imperial cruisers, converging on the Retribution. The bridge crew watched, expecting to see the human ship crippled or destroyed. Instead, the energy seemed to ripple across an invisible barrier before dissipating completely. No damage detected, reported the stunned tactical officer. Their shields absorbed the entire impact. Chen's face reappeared on screen, still unnervingly calm. Admiral Zex, that was a warning shot from your side. Here's ours. Before anyone could react, a small projectile launched from the Retribution. It detonated between the Imperial ships, releasing a pulse that washed over the vessels. Suddenly, every system on the Imperial ships flickered and reset. What just happened? Demanded Zex as emergency lights bathed the bridge in red. Some kind of electromagnetic pulse, sir, but focused somehow to only affect our systems temporarily, the science officer reported. They could have disabled us completely, but they chose not to. On the screen, Chen's expression remained firm but not threatening. Now that I have your attention, Admiral, perhaps we can discuss the matter of our missing ship and murdered crew more productively. The next demonstration won't be so gentle. As the Imperial crew scrambled to restore their systems, Admiral Zex stared at the human captain with new eyes. Eyes filled with something the Empire hadn't felt in centuries. Fear. This wasn't possible. Humans were primitives, barely worth monitoring. Yet here they were, with technology that could neutralize Imperial warships with apparent ease. The Stellar Council would need to be informed immediately. And as systems gradually came back online, a disturbing thought formed in Zex's mind. Had the Empire made a catastrophic mistake by underestimating humanity? The truth unveiled. News of the human warship spread through the Empire's communication networks like wildfire. Within hours, an emergency meeting of the Stellar Council was called. The Grand Chamber, with its high-vaulted ceiling and walls of polished obsidian, filled quickly with representatives from the Empire's most powerful worlds. High Counselor Vex, the oldest member of the Council, stood at the center platform. His ancient carapace showed the pale blue of extreme age as the holographic display showed the human vessel, the Retribution, surrounded by now 8 Imperial ships. How is this possible? Demanded Counselor Rena, her violet carapace marking her as from the diplomatic caste. Humans were classified as a level 2 civilization, barely capable of reaching their own moon. Vex raised a clawed hand for silence. Our last official survey of Earth was conducted over 50 cycles ago. It appears we severely underestimated their rate of technological progress. Or we were deliberately missiled, suggested another counselor, his red carapace indicating military background. The room fell silent as the main doors opened. A tall Coraxian with a silver carapace entered, carrying a data crystal. This was Cavis, Chief of Imperial Intelligence. Humans have been hiding their true capabilities, Xavis stated flatly. Our recent scans of their vessel show technology that rivals or exceeds our own in several key areas. He inserted the crystal into a reader, and the hologram shifted to display detailed scans of the Retribution. Their shield technology operates on principles our scientists don't fully understand. Their weapon systems are equally advanced. Most concerning is their propulsion system, which leaves almost no energy signature, making it nearly impossible to track. High Counselor Vex's antennae trembled slightly. What do they want? They claim to be searching for a missing research vessel. Thetis replied. Our records show an unknown ship was indeed destroyed in that sector last month by Commander Velix's patrol fleet. It was classified as an intruder and eliminated without communication. A mistake, whispered Vex. A mistake that could lead to war, said Xavis. Grand Admiral Zex reports that the human captain, this Chen, has evidence of our involvement. She's demanding answers and reparations. Council Arena stood abruptly. This is absurd. We are the Corexian Empire. We do not bow to threats from a single ship from a backwater world. Xavis looked at her coolly. A single ship that withstood direct hits from 3 battle cruisers without showing any damage. A single ship that temporarily disabled our entire fleet with technology we cannot counter. The council erupted in angry voices and fearful whispers. Meanwhile, aboard the Imperial flagship, Admiral Zex paced the bridge. The standoff had lasted nearly 20 hours, and the human ship remained motionless, its dark hull reflecting starlight as 6 more Imperial vessels joined the blockade. Report from intelligence, sir, said his aide, extending a datapad. Zex scanned the information, his compound eyes widening. Verify this immediately. Already verified, sir. The archives don't lie. On the Retribution, Captain Chen stood at the viewport, watching the Imperial ships adjust their positions. Beside her, Lieutenant Commander Raj Singh, her tactical officer, monitored the sensor readings. They're bringing more ships, Singh reported. 17 now. Chen nodded calmly. They're scared. Captain, called her communications officer. We're receiving a transmission from Admiral Zex. He's requesting to board for direct negotiations. Chen and Singh exchanged glances. Allow it, Chen ordered. Security Protocol Omega. 2 guards at every intersection. An hour later, Admiral Zex and his aides stood in the Retribution's conference room. The Admiral's black carapace seemed less imposing somehow, his posture less rigid. Captain Chen, Zex began formally. The Stellar Council has authorized me to discuss the unfortunate incident involving your research vessel. Chen's expression remained neutral. 3 weeks ago, your patrol ships destroyed an unarmed civilian research vessel without provocation, killing 22 people. We require an explanation, Admiral. Zex's mandibles clicked softly. A tragic error in judgment by a patrol commander who has since been relieved of duty. The Empire extends its formal apology and offers reparations. Chen's eyes narrowed. That's a start. But it doesn't explain why your Empire classified us as primitives when you clearly know better. For the first time, genuine surprise flickered across Zex's alien features. You believe this was deliberate deception. Our development has been monitored for decades, Chen replied. Your probes aren't as stealthy as you think. What I want to know is why the Corexian Empire has been pretending we're harmless primitives while secretly observing our technological progress. Zex glanced at his aide, who gave a subtle antenna twitch. Captain, there is something you should know, Zex said slowly. Something few in the Empire itself remember. He placed a small crystal on the conference table. It projected an ancient text written in flowing alien script. This is from our sealed archives. A directive issued 500 cycles ago ordering all contact with Earth to cease. Chen leaned forward. Why? Not because humans were primitive, Zex continued, but because they were dangerous. Singh tensed beside Chen. Dangerous how? The directive specifies that humans were to be isolated, their memory of the greater galaxy erased, and their technological progress carefully monitored. Chen's expression darkened. You're saying we once knew about aliens, about the Empire, and you. What? Mind-wiped our entire species. Not us, Zex clarified. The old Empire, before the Great Reform. What the archives call the Quarantine Directive was implemented during the reign of Emperor Vex III. That doesn't answer my question. Chen pressed. Why were we quarantined? Zex's compound eyes seemed to darken. Because humans nearly destroyed the galaxy. Silence fell over the conference room. Chen and Sing exchanged incredulous glances. "That's absurd," Chen finally said. "Our species couldn't have reached that level of technology and then forgotten it." "Not your technology," Zex replied. "Your nature." He manipulated the crystal, showing ancient battle records. Ships unlike any modern design engaged in massive conflicts. Humans evolved as apex predators on a death world, Zex explained. While most spacefaring species evolved through cooperation, humans evolved through competition and conflict. When humans first joined the galactic community 1,000 cycles ago, they brought something no other species had developed to such a degree. "What?" asked Sing. "Warfare," Zex said simply. "The concept of organized, strategic violence on a massive scale. Before humans, disputes between worlds were settled through ritual combat or economic sanctions. Humans introduced total war to a galaxy unprepared for it." Chen shook her head in disbelief. "If we were so dangerous, why not just eliminate us entirely?" "Because before you became conquerors, you were protectors," Zex replied. "The ancient texts call humans the Shield of Dawn. When the Void Swarm first attacked the galaxy, only humans had the military doctrine and ruthlessness to fight back effectively." Zex paused, his mandibles clicking in what might have been uncertainty. After the swarm was defeated, human military power grew unchecked. A faction took control, calling themselves the Human Imperium. They conquered a third of the galaxy before they were finally stopped. "And then what?" Chen asked. "A coalition of species developed a technology that could selectively erase memory patterns across an entire planet. Earth was quarantined, your civilization reset, your history erased. A monitoring system was established to ensure humans would never again threaten the galaxy." "But we did anyway," Sing said with a trace of pride. "Yes," Zex admitted. "Your rate of technological development far exceeded projections. This ship alone demonstrates capabilities that took other species centuries to develop." Chen stood and moved to the viewport, looking out at the stars and the Imperial ships still positioned around them. "So what happens now, Admiral? Your empire has been caught in a lie that's lasted 500 years. My government will want answers." Zex's carapace shifted in what might have been a sigh. "The Stellar Council proposes a new beginning. Formal diplomatic relations, technology exchange, cultural understanding. A seat at the galactic table." "And the truth about our past?" Chen asked, turning back to face the Admiral. "Will be revealed gradually. There are artifacts, records that survive the memory purge. They have been preserved." Chen considered this for a long moment. "I'll need to consult with Earth Command." "Of course," Zex agreed, rising to his feet. "But Captain Chen, I must warn you. Not all powers in the galaxy will welcome humanity's return to the stars. The memory of the Human Imperium still haunts many worlds." Chen's expression hardened with determination. "Then they'll have to get used to it, Admiral. Because this time, humanity isn't going anywhere." After Zex departed, Sing turned to Chen. "Do you believe him? About our past?" Chen stared out at the stars, her reflection in the viewport overlaying the distant pinpoints of light. "I don't know, but I intend to find out." She activated the ship's communication system. "Send this to Earth Command. First contact established with Corexian Empire. Evidence suggests humanity has a hidden history among the stars. Request permission to proceed with diplomatic negotiations and historical inquiry." As the message was transmitted through subspace, Chen couldn't help but feel that humanity stood on the precipice of something momentous. Not just the discovery of alien life, but the rediscovery of their own forgotten legacy among the stars. Whether that legacy was one of glory or shame remained to be seen. But one thing was certain: the galaxy was about to remember why humans had once been both feared and respected across the cosmos. And the Empire's mistake in underestimating humanity would prove to be the catalyst for a new chapter in galactic history. The end.